Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is a video series I do called Transfer Tuesday where I share our progress towards our financial goals. I did miss last week. I was out of town at a conference, so this week will be a summation of what I did last week and this week for Transfer Tuesday. So for last week for Transfer Tuesday, we were working on our progress towards maxing out my Roth IRA, and we are getting very, very close. So last week I was able to transfer $350, leaving only $650 left of the $6,000. I was really hoping to be able to kind of knock that out, but this week I was only able to do 150. As I've talked about before, I tend to move any leftover money out of our checking account to our savings account because it is a pay period this week. So I get paid on Thursdays. My husband gets paid on Fridays. So I was able to move that $500 thinking I could use that. And then my husband told me he's scheduled to pay his credit card on Friday, and it was a larger amount than I had anticipated. So rather than eat into the savings more than I would like, I think we're just going to kind of push it off another week and we'll see what next week brings. But we're down to only $500 left. So within the next 2 weeks for sure, we should be able to finish maxing that out and then move on. Kind of along those same lines, so I've talked about in other videos, our other goal for the year is paying down our mortgage to be able to drop the PMI insurance, which is a total of $22,000 in principal that we need to pay down to be able to do that. And I feel like we're making good progress. I can, once we're done with the Roth IRA, contribute a little bit extra on that. But we also decided to start some additional sinking funds, and I think that's something that I'm going to focus more on in our budget every month. Once this Roth IRA is complete, then it'll free up some of that extra money for that. So this morning I opened a new savings account at our bank, and I'm going to lump 3 categories into one savings account, but they are going to be money for Christmas, money for our kids' activities, so things like soccer and like summer camps, things like that that are big ticket items, not for like yearbooks or field trips or the smaller things, but the things that eat into the budget big, so those several $100 expenses. That way we can save a little bit throughout the year, and it's because it seems they always tend to come at the same time, right? Like in the spring we registered for soccer for next year, so that was a big expense, putting 2 kids into soccer, and we do fall and spring at the same time. So that was like $300 and some that we paid for that. And then it was like, then we enrolled them for aftercare after summer school, and that was like almost $800. So I figured if we have that sinking fund, then it won't be such a hit and derail our other financial goals during that time, because we will have saved up along the way and be able to just pay that out of that savings account. And then the other one is travel. So I decided to lump those 3 categories into one and put all of the money in there, but I'm going to track it in an Excel spreadsheet where my goal is to put $100 a month, I think, towards each of those, so $300 a month into that savings account towards those specific goals. So we've kind of done the same thing with travel. It's usually, we just don't contribute as much towards our financial goals that month, or it'll be we just got money from like a reimbursement or something like that that we then use towards the travel. But I think if we're more intentional about it, then maybe we would also travel more if we know, oh, look, we have, $3,000 sitting in this account for travel. Like, let's use it. So that's kind of my mentality. Although we're very aggressive on our financial goals, I'm also feeling like you only live once, the YOLO, and wanting to take advantage of, doing those things as a family. So I think in August we're going to try and go down to Tennessee and do the Pigeon Forge area and do some of that to do something fun this summer with our kids. So that was kind of a lot of goals and things all in one. Other updates I had talked about the conference that I went to, and part of it I received like a scholarship to go to it. So I did receive that $1,000 reimbursement for that. So that was nice. There's still another like $600 or so that I will need to submit receipts for and be reimbursed. Also anticipating probably in July having my dependent care reimbursements to be able to start collecting some of that money, and I'm thinking that's what we will use then for our vacation. So kind of a lot of irons in the fire kind of thing, but that is my update. So in the last 2 weeks, it was $500 total towards that Roth IRA and only $500 left to go, and then I will have maxed it out at the $6,000 for the year. So then we can move on towards the rest of the goals for the rest of the year and balancing those goals with enjoying life and enjoying the money that we do have. So I would love to hear in the comments below what you're working on, if you have sinking funds and what kinds of sinking funds you use and how you kind of track those. Also, we'll take recommendations for the Pigeon Forge area in Tennessee, as this will be our first time going there, so we're really excited. So that's it for me for my update for the past 2 weeks, and I will see you again next week.